Miami 57 and 38, Dallas, Texas 63 and 46, and Toronto, Canada 23 and 02. As you go the week, expect that high pressure to be a dominant feature and a warming trend starting tomorrow. The temperature daytime will now be in the mid to upper 70 daytime, the low to mid 60 at nighttime. That puts you off in your first look at weather sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Godfrey. National Catholic Schools Week is this week, January 30th to February 5th, and is being held under the theme Catholic Schools, Faith, Excellence, Service. Here to tell us more are Joye Ritchie, Principal, Mary, Star of the Sea Catholic Academy in Grand Bahama, and Leonardo Soncaire, see, I tell you, I keep thinking in French. Soncaire, Principal, St. Francis de Sales School in Abaco, and also Jacinta Goffe, Principal of Xavier's Lower School. See, all my Bahamian coming out today, I apologize. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning, thank you for having us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for being up with us day early. I know it's a busy week, especially with Catholic School Week. I know it's an exciting time for the church and for the schools. But first, tell us, anyone can answer, how many Catholic schools are there in the Bahamas?
We have 9.
Now, if you were to give me a trivia, I would lose. So go ahead and list them off for me.
My colleagues can help me out here. Well, in Grand Bahama, obviously, is Mary Star of the Sea Catholic Academy. And then we have St. Francis de Sales in Abaco. And Miss Goffe, don't let me miss out there in New Providence. And also in Abaco, we have Every Child Counts, which is, yes, it's a part of the 9 schools, but it's not your traditional school. What we call traditional. And then I'll let Miss Goffe finish off.
Okay, in New Providence, we have Xavier's Lower School, of course, St. Cecilia, Saints Francis and Joseph Primary School, St. Thomas More, Aquinas College, which is a high school, and St. Augustine's College, which also comes under it's considered a Catholic school, while they are not under the Catholic Board of Education. And so they are the schools in New Providence.
Well, I guess everybody knows SAC, and it seems like everybody on their Grammy went to Xavier's, right? Yes. I talked to everybody, and it seemed like everybody passed through there. So definitely some very powerful schools. Leonardo, you look like you want to add to our list.
No, I can't. No, not at this time. I was going to say, when you said about Xavier's, I was going to say the Great Our Ladies. I don't know if anyone remembers that school, but I came from that. I was a product of the Great Our Lady School, right there at the Bowe Streets.
Perfect. Well, we know the names, we know the rich heritage, within the schools, but tell us, for those who don't know, what is the value of a Catholic school education?
I'll start off. For me, Mark, the way I look at it is we prepare our students for what we call the end product, which is not a diploma, which is not receiving national exam certificates. But at the end of the day, to see Leonardo Soncaire, Jacinta Goffe, or myself, or I don't know if you had the privilege of going to a Catholic school, but for those people who have been able now to really make an impact in our communities, either socially, entrepreneurially, and just being able to put all of those characteristic traits, all those skills that they would have developed at a Catholic school, and 30, 40, 50 years even later, you can see them in the community as people who you say, wow, they've really made an impact in the Bahamas and perhaps even globally. And we sincerely believe that a big part of that is because they attended Catholic school. So that's the big picture in terms of what impact Catholic schools have.
Yeah, I can definitely agree that you can always tell somebody that went to a Catholic school. There's this extra sense of pride. There's kind of like a little chip on the shoulder, which is perfect. It definitely means that those who would have attended the school definitely came away with some valuable lessons in education, camaraderie, learning about their country. So tell us, let's say, Jacinta, what is the purpose of Catholic Schools Week?
Catholic Schools Week gives us an opportunity to celebrate all that is Catholic and all that pertains to attending a Catholic school. And like you said, just to give those children an opportunity to display their pride and their love for being at the school or the institution that they're at. And it also gives us an opportunity to reiterate to our students the love we have for Catholic school, and like Ms. Ritchie said, the end product, what it is we want them to become. So yes, we are preparing them for what's taking place here and now, but more than that, we are preparing them to be faith-filled, disciplined, well-rounded individuals 10, 20, 30 years from now.
I love it. It sounds like it's nation building, community building, character building, all of those roll into one. Leonardo, tell us, what are some of the activities happening this week?
Well, we normally start off the week together as a board in terms of a Sunday Mass, where we invite students to the local Catholic parish, as well as to their own churches to wear their school uniforms and take a picture so that we can highlight those moments. Each individual school pretty much sets themselves up for the week in terms of their activities. Here at St. Francis de Sales, while it will be, while we're under the COVID regulations, we're still going to find a little small way to celebrate. Basically, we're going to celebrate where we've come from, especially this being our second year post-Orient, in terms of completing our upper primary school building and also having a newly built state-of-the-art office facility. So we're really on our way in terms of improving. Our numbers are up based on last year in terms of student population. There's still no high school, but to that we all say stay tuned. With every little effort, these things will come to fruition soon enough. Thank you.
And congratulations on the strides made. As you said, 2 years post-Dorian, we know that Abaco, has been going through, a hard time recovering from that storm, both, physically, infrastructurally, emotionally amongst people. So congratulations on, getting, this primary school up and running. We look forward to the high school being back, and we're staying tuned for that.
Yes,
so you mentioned some of these activities that are happening at your school and throughout the Catholic schools. Tell us about the fundraiser that's happening this week, and tell us about ways people can contribute. This can be anyone can jump in.
We're part of a national association, National Catholic Education Association, and we being a part of that, we're now able to participate in their Day of Giving. And that's going to happen on February 1st. And we're looking for all of our stakeholders. Obviously, we're looking out to past graduates, anyone who would have had children in our school, anyone who just loves Catholic education. This is an opportunity for you to give something tangible back to our school system. Each individual school would usually try and have fundraisers reaching out to alumni, but now this is on a national scale. It's happening all across North America, and now we're a part of that. And so tomorrow will be that day, if I'm not mistaken. And we're really looking forward to all of our Catholic school graduates and lovers of Catholic education to go into your pockets and give what you're able to really show us in a tangible way how much you appreciate what we do here in the Bahamas.
Catholic Schools Week, man. Everybody can't talk to nobody that been to a Catholic school this week. Can't talk to no one from SAC. We don't know everybody been to Xavier's. We'd like to thank you all for being here on the show with us at Bahamas at Sunrise. We have Joye, Ritchie, the principal, Mary Star of the C Catholic Academy. Now, Star, tell me, make sure big up Mary Star to C. So, book, right? Leonardo Soncaire, principal of the St. Francis de Sales School in Abaco, and Jacinta Goffe, principal of Xavier's Lower School here in New Providence. Thank you all for being with us this morning on Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
It was our pleasure.
Great. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Our world has changed. Many businesses have been closed for months with little or no access to their customers until now. Rev Media can help you remain connected to your customers. Our trusted customized advertising packages and personalized consultants will provide your business with immeasurable support during this challenging time. Your customers are already watching. Rev Media can help you to remain connected. Call us today. Let us help you.
Let's go! Rose, why you do me bad? Why you do me bad? I'm going baby. Say, Rose, you're my everything. You're my everything. I want in this whole world, oh no. Why did you leave me? Why you deceive me? Was you looking so good? Why did you leave me? Never know. Shiggity-go bomba-day, shiggity-go bomba-day. Rock with Sanity, shiggity-go bomba-day.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Thank you for staying with us. Thousands of Bahamians have registered on My Gateway, the centralized, secure way to request and pay for a range of online services from the government of the Bahamas. Here to tell us more, we are very happy to welcome Damara Dillet. She's the legal specialist for the Digital Transformation Unit, and she's joined today by Andalino Sands, who's the Business Process Reengineering Manager for the DTU. And you might notice behind Mr. Light that she has a beautiful, happy first anniversary sign. And so we celebrate that with you both. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us. Good morning, Bahamas.
Good morning. Yeah, pleasure to have you all with us. And again, congratulations on 1 year being able to do this. I think through a pandemic and still make sure that it happens. I think there's a lot to be celebrated. And so, Damara, I'm going to get started with you. Give us some details on the government's digital transformation initiatives.
Yes, so many countries around the world, they're starting to move towards e-government and a digital government. And so a big part of that is just making sure that it's able to serve its clients, you, the public, as best as they can through reviewing processes and making sure that the government is working for its people. And so similarly, in the Bahamas, we decided that, it's time for us to get on that digital transformation journey. Let's move towards a better Bahamas, being able to serve our clients, the public, a lot better than we were able to do before. And so we just started to take a look at some of our processes. We started to engage and benchmark and understand, how other countries are able to serve their citizens in an efficient, effective manner. And just taking some of those lessons learned, making sure that we understand our own culture, understand how we ought to customize and take a look at certain initiatives. We've started to move towards digital transformation. And one of the big milestones of that is our digital e-service product, if we can call it that, called My Gateway. And My Gateway is the platform that allows our clients to apply for a service online, pay for that service online, and minimize a lot of that running around that a lot of individuals have experienced when working with government. And so we're just trying to work with our clients a lot better than previously. Yes.
Yeah, well, congratulations again on that. You know, I'm able to see in some of the many online chats that various Bahamians communities have, people talking about the ease in the process of them getting their passport or renewing their license. And so it's exciting to see us come to that place. What are some of the services that we currently offer at My Gateway?
So currently we have more than 40 services available online. Some of the hot topic or big, I guess, popular items, being able to make an application for your driver's license. Recently popular is the ability to schedule your vehicle inspection and kind of make that process seamless when you're renewing your licensing. Additionally, we have the police certificate, being able to request your police character certificate. You have the ability to access the Registrar General's Department and request certified copies of a birth, marriage, or death certificate. You also have the opportunity to request the renewal of your passport for adults. Additionally, we have a number of services that are featured through the ministry, the Department of Agriculture and Department of Marine Resources that allows farmers as well as individuals who need to get certain licenses to be able to access that pretty quickly using the My Gateway portal, apply for the service, pay for the service, and then just go into the agency and receive that service.
Excellent, excellent. And about how many people are using the service now?
So we have more than 60,000 persons registered on My Gateway, and that's a major accomplishment for us. Earlier, we would have celebrated our 50,000 milestone, and we now have the opportunity to tab an additional 10,000 persons on that. Daily, we're getting calls, persons interested, reaching out to find out a lot more about My Gateway, its services, and so there's great interest in the wider Bahamian public around My Gateway.
That is excellent. Andalino, I want to bring you into the conversation here because if you move in almost 40 services online and you're talking about 60,000 people, I imagine it's taken a whole lot of work to make that happen. How has this whole process been, shifting government services online? I think I remember hearing about e-government the last time I interned for the government, which would have been about almost 12 years ago now. And to see it finally taking shape in this way, what has been involved in that process?
So we have agreements with the agencies, and we work with a close relationship with those agencies, as well as we have a very competent team who is working extremely hard to merge the processes and the new implementation of technologies with those specific agencies, as well as all of us just really putting the effort in to make this possible. And it's really been a wonderful journey. It's been a lot of work, yes, but for the team, it's very rewarding when we see the results that we have from the Bahamians who are just so excited to sign up on the services, use the services, and just experience the ease of doing business.
Yeah, and how simple is it, Andalino, for us to get signed up? Where do we go, and what kind of documentation do we need to have to make sure that we're registered?
So for the most part, you just need your, we sign up on My Gateway. We use the services.mygateway.gov.bs, or you can go to the My Gateway website and you can click login. And from there, it's really just entering your NIB number and your details with of course, your name, email address, and so forth and so on. Just pretty simple sign up information. After that's completed, and you pretty much walk right into the My Gateway platform. You'll have access to various services on there, and you'll be able to see them for your benefit.
Okay, excellent. Well, Damara, in addition to everything that you guys have already celebrated, including getting up to that 60,000, the IDB recently gave the government credit for the launch of My Gateway. And how important was that in terms of the digital infrastructure for our development?
So that was truly important. You know, we partnered with the IDB for this particular initiative. And so like many countries around the world, they're interested as well in seeing the progress of the Bahamas. And so as one of our partners, and we thank them, as one of our partners along this journey, it was really big for them to just publicly come out and say, you know, we are just truly pleased and, you know, proud of the progress of the Digital Transformation Unit and the government of the Bahamas with its progress in this digital transformation journey. We have a number of persons that we do partner with as we walk this particular journey. On the team, you know, we say we take baby steps every day. This is a long marathon. We are committed to make those baby steps every day. We're grateful to all the individuals who've assisted in this journey, and particularly to our clients. You know, 60,000 clients, you know, have subscribed to this particular service. You know, daily we get calls, we get emails, our social media platforms are flooded with individuals just thanking us for the opportunity for doing business with the Bahamas government a little better. It's not a perfected process as yet. And so as we receive feedback from our clients, that's a part of the digital transformation journey as well. Hearing from our citizens, hearing from the residents who are using this particular platform, so that as we move towards that perfected state of digital transformation, we are serving our clients as best as we can. And so, you know, we're grateful to our partners, those in the agencies. You know, we want to say good morning. They've fallen down and gotten up together with us through this particular journey. There's a lot more things to come. We're still celebrating some additional milestones around, you know, having a national search specialist on board. And, you know, she's working hard to ensure that there's a national cybersecurity strategy. We have persons who are working truly you know, hard every day to ensure that we move to an identification system that works for us all. So there are a number of moving pieces with digital transformation. We're just glad to celebrate this milestone of My Gateway. And, you know, persons who've not heard about My Gateway, you still have the opportunity to visit our website, mygateway.gov.bs, and become a part of this initiative. Walk this digital transformation journey with us. Check out the website, check out the portal, check out the services, assist us with this digital transformation journey. We are working for you.
Excellent, very well said. Well, we want to thank both of you so much for joining us on Bahamas at Sunrise. You know, any final thoughts for us before we close? Andalino, I think you might be muted.
Just for everybody to sign up on My Gateway, get on board, get on the train. We are working for you. We're bringing on services regularly, and you can expect a whole lot more this year. And we want the public to know that we are pushing very hard for your ease of doing business.
Excellent. Well, thank you both so much for joining us on Bahamas at Sunrise. Certainly a lot to celebrate in the first year alone. And if you've done that much, we can't wait to see what this new year will bring. We thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. Lett, of course, the legal specialist for the Digital Transformation Unit, and Mr. Andalino Sands, the Business Process Reengineering Manager. All the best to both of you. Congratulations to your team, and thanks again for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
The sports we play depend on the health we build. So let's stay healthy. Wear a mask and practice social distancing and hand washing to protect yourself and others. Remember, COVID-19 is not a game.
A public service message from the Bahamas Olympic Committee.
Join the Click is an initiative started by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions last year when we were trying to figure out how to help business leaders as well as consumers to stay connected. Working with Canoe, working with other partners, working with the government and My Gateway to help them to connect with customers who want to place orders and want to be able to do things in a digital way.
My Gateway. My Gateway is a groundbreaking portal through which clients can request and pay for government services online. We have 28 services. We expect to increase the number of services to a minimum of 200.
I love that we're helping the government and helping our citizens to be more efficient and to use their time more wisely.
I invite you to sign up for mygateway.gov.bs and let us make government work for you. Join the click.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. I'm Anastasia Palacios, and we are halfway through our show on this marvelous Monday.
And I am Mark Daniels. Thank you all for joining us. It's a pleasure speaking with you this morning.
It certainly is, Mark, and it's been a great morning filled with lots of good information. Of course, a great chat with Mike Gateway there, and then love to see the Catholic schools on this morning.
Well, John, you know, once the Catholic school on, everybody pride coming out now. All the people in the chat, even the Zavias people in the chat. But really, I feel like everybody has been to Zavias. I think about 90% of people I ask have been to that primary school.
Yeah, no, I've always heard great things about Zavias. Many of my cousins went there before they continued on at St. John's. It seems to be a family thing to half Catholic, half Anglican. But no, you know, I'm a proud graduate of Mary Star of the Sea. It was Mary Star of the Sea School then. I became an academy later when I was in Grand Bahama, and you know, some of the schools have had to close over time. But St. Vincent, the Sale School in Bahama, was the school as well at some point. And the Catholic education system has really done wonders for many of us who would not have just had the opportunity for education at an affordable cost had it not been for them. And so we celebrate them this weekend. Look forward to seeing more great things come from them. We got more to come in the second half of the show, of course, and I'm very excited that we're going to be speaking with Gowon Bowe. He's here to discuss the state of our economy and a way forward.
Always excited to hear Gowon, and we're going to have the Bahamas Insurance Association, and they're here to talk to us about Insurance Month. But let's talk Godfrey again. Let's find out this cold weather done, if I can put up the lotion and the jackets, or I need to keep them handy. Godfrey, tell us what's up.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us.
Thank you, Mark, and good morning, Bahamas. And yes, second look at weather Sunrise. Mark, we're going to put this cool away over the next day. High pressure north of the islands will be the dominant of the future across the islands over the next several days. As that solar frontal boundary will support some cloudiness and the chance of a couple of showers for the central and southeastern islands during the daytime. In your marine forecast, those winds today northeast at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet for the northwest Bahamas, north to northeast at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 7 feet for the central and southeastern islands. On Tuesday, those winds become northeast to east at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 7 feet over the northwest and central Bahamas, northeasterly at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet over the southeastern islands. On Wednesday, those winds east to southeast at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 7 feet in northwest Bahamas, northeast to east at 15 to 25 knots, seas 5 to 8 feet over the central and southeastern islands. Your tides just had a high tide that happened at 6:49 this morning. The next low tide will be at 1:19 this afternoon. High gain this evening at 10 minutes past 7. Sunset 5:53 this evening. Rises about 6:51. UV index 7. Your water temperature 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Honeymoon phase, no moon. The external look, that high pressure will dominate the region through the week. A warming trend starting tomorrow. The temperature daytime will be in the mid to upper 70s daytime, even in the low 80s by Thursday. At nighttime in the mid 60s. And that puts her up when you finally look at Brother Sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Star.
Thank you so much, Godfrey. Well, we got an update on weather, and now it's time for an economic temperature check and a strong dose of sound advice about the way forward for the economy of our nation. Here to talk to us about this, we're very happy to welcome Gowon Bowe, who's the Group Chief Executive Officer with Fidelity Bank and Trust. Gowon, good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Morning, Star. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure to have you with us. We always learn so much in these conversations. And my favorite thing about it, I think, is how real you keep the conversation. But I'm going to start right away with the toughest question. Generally, is the Bahamas in good or poor health economically?
I believe if we look at the first month of the year, it tells us the state that we're in. We had 1 week where we had an announcement of a new partnership in a hotel. The next week, we had the announcement of a closure of a brand. In the following week, we had the announcement of the reopening of one of our older brands that had been here that had refurbished. And I think that is actually symptomatic of where our economy is. That there are positive signs, but there are still very dangerous times ahead of us in terms of challenges that will be there. I believe there are upsides. Persons are seeing the opening of the economy, are seeing the movement of people, tourists now almost looking to some level of normalcy. But I think, as has been warned by the governor of the central bank, just going back to pre-COVID levels is not going to be sufficient. So to sum it all up, I would say positive signs, but we have to be more deliberate and strategic because the old is not going to be appropriate for the new day that we're about to live in.
The old will not be appropriate for the new day. And I heard that, Gowon, that kind of, back and forth, one foot in, one foot out in terms of what's happening. We continue to be hopeful, and yet we know that there are some very, very serious matters on the horizon. One of them being our national debt. What is our national debt status now? And do we have a viable plan to decrease that?
I think we have to put that into context so that we don't panic. Our national debt is at its highest levels ever. But let's put that into context. We have actually been running deficits and debt since independence. So every year our debt is at the highest level somewhat because we're continuing to run deficits. And we have to change that trajectory. I think the danger barometer is where the debt stands relative to GDP. And, for all indications in recent documents that are being released, our debt is, near the 100% mark of our GDP. So put in layman's terms, we owe as much as we earn every year as a country. So from that perspective, the government doesn't earn the country's earnings every year. It only earns a percentage, but it owes the entire amount of the country. So the government would have to tax us 100% in order to pay back the debt. Now, break that down into bite-sized pieces. It means that we have to have a very structured plan. When you go into the bank and you borrow for a home, in reality, you borrow far more than you earn. And the reason being is because you are trying to get monies up front to invest in an asset. Unfortunately for us as a country, we've borrowed in order to enjoy ourselves. And I say that a little bit tongue in cheek. We've been doing that to pay salaries, to pay our operating expenses, and not borrowing solely for future development, investments in infrastructure assets. So the chickens have come home to roost. And so we have to be in a mindset that we are not going to be status quo. The government is going to have to make difficult decisions on taxation. They've already announced tax collection efforts and what they're going to do to increase. We have to brace ourselves for revisions in our tax structure. Persons may not like to hear it, but we have to render unto Caesar what is Caesar's because we've already spent the money. So we now have to pay it back. We also need to look at how do we grow the economy. And I always get myself right back to my favorite element, the National Development Plan, that a goal without a plan is just a wish. So I would say that our debt is in a precarious situation. The economy is also in a precarious situation, but we have tremendous talent. We have tremendous competitive advantage in terms of our natural assets and what we can do if we are strategic. And so from that perspective, I think this is one of those times where necessity is going to drive that we have to be united, that two heads are better than one. Having the silly political games about who did what, the reality is we are where we are because of all political parties, pre-independence and post-independence, and now is the time to say, how do we have a national voice in terms of turning our trajectory?
So you mentioned quite a few things there, Gowon. I always support you whenever we talk about the need for political unity across the aisle when it comes to our economy. But you did mention that we've kind of borrowed to, things like pay our civil service, which we know is large, and which we know the new ministers responsible for that area have been working to increase pensions, make some people permanent and more pensionable. And so there are some challenges even there in terms of expansion. And then that is happening, and we know that they've also reduced the VAT to 10% across the board. Any thoughts on those things specifically? Do we need to see a reduction in the civil service? Do we need to see changes in VAT again, or should we just brace ourselves for income tax? What should be happening in those two areas?
And I think that's a very good point. The first one I would say on the VAT, the reduction in the rate also came with the removal of exemptions and some of the leakage opportunities, right? People criticize that because they say it's unduly harsh on those who are less fortunate. Truth of the matter is, let's collect from everyone and redirect resources to who can pay. So we've already spoken about that, and that's where it should be. Our determination on the size of the civil service is more challenging because it is more a question of how do we make it more efficient. Reducing the civil service without having a buoyant economy only means that it's shifting the money from left pocket to right pocket because social service expenses will have to go up. So we need to be talking about reskilling, retraining, and repurposing our civil servant employees as we grow the economy and turn government into a facilitator, not a hurdle or an obstacle. Most will tell you, when we talk about ease of doing business, it's not about anti-government. It's about anti-inefficiency. Because if we could get things done appropriately, getting things like approvals, getting things like responses, getting things like funding and resources that are purposeful, then we have an ability to grow. So it goes back to why I say the National Development Plan, because if we're looking out 1 year, 2 year, we're not going to get out of it because just as you said, we will react as opposed to saying, well, I have a 10-year plan, I have a 25-year plan, and I have goals and milestones within that. And yes, I will amend, I see those initiatives not working, but I have a wider strategy. If I am running from pillar to post, then we're praying that those pillars and posts hold up, as opposed to saying, well, we've built a foundation and we're comfortable that is going to be in the same way that we set it out. And I think that that's most important, that let's have a strategy, a plan, and a way to measure it, and a way to be accountable, not by our vernacular, sweet talk, but by paper. Let's put it down so people can judge it and really critique your stewardship and not worry about what you tell me and how sweet you say it, but I could see it on paper because external parties, I think, are tired of the sweet talk.
Yeah, that, Gowon. Well, I think that anybody that listens to us regularly, and it's not just you, it's many of the people who have invested their time in the National Development Plan, always come back to that document and say, we put it all here. You can change a million manifestos, but at the end of the day, this is what should be the plan moving forward. And so I hope the powers that be are listening and will find that document and bring it back to us as a way forward. Before we go, Gowon, any thoughts on financial advice for families or individuals this year who are caught right there with that back and forward motion, having just come out of the pandemic, maybe earning again, but are doing so in times when there are shortages globally, when things are just tough, period. Any advice for them?
Always remember that it's darkest before the dawn. And from that one, we need to now start sitting down and what I say IPD, gaining information about our financial health, prioritizing, and then having the discipline. The reality is, at my organization, certainly in this new year, we've rolled out, if you will, a reintroduction of ourselves on the financial coaching side. Fidelity certainly is one, encouraging those families, whether customers or not, come and visit with us. Let's talk about your budgeting, your planning. And it goes right back to the same thing I say on our national development plan. Families and individuals need a plan. And you know what? No man is an island. And so sometimes having that friendly face and voice who can sit down and sit next to you and say, well, you know what? Spending all that money on specialty coffee isn't the wise thing to do because you have some more important priorities. And let's look at what your circumstances are and let's devise a strategy for you to be financially independent in the near term. So from that perspective, I think this is one, going right back to it, the dawn is right around the corner. It is dark, but if you have a plan in front of you, you can trust. Just like the pilots and the boat captains, they have their GPS. If you set your own course, even when you have the clouds and turbulence, you know where you're going and you can see your way forward. And I think that's the most important part going forward.
Yeah, very well said. Very well said. Sometimes the hard decisions are necessary at the moment, but in the long run, if you can see the benefit of it, and that's why it's so important for the plan, right? If you can see where you're going, it makes that dawn a little easier to wait for. So Gowon, thank you so much for joining us this morning on Bahamas Sunrise. Always a pleasure to have you. And all the best to you and your team.
You take care.
You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
We believe in relationship banking. We take pride in getting to know our clients. You have access to knowledgeable, approachable ambassadors and financial coaches so that we can recommend the best product for you. At Fidelity, we care about you. From your financial health to your physical health, we can relate to you because we're just like you. Come and start your relationship banking experience with us today. Visit us online at fidelitygroup.com. Visit any of our branches in Nassau or Grand Bahama, or phone 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 for Freeport.
Welcome back. The Bahamas Insurance Association is celebrating Insurance Month for the month of February under the theme, Insurance and You, Resilient Together. Here to discuss this with us are Charles Johnson, Senior Manager, J.S. Johnson, Charlene Rodgers, Vice President, Bahama Health Family Guardian, and Antonio Lockhart, District Manager, Family Guardian. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mark.
Good morning. Thank you all for joining us this morning. A very important topic. We're talking about insurance and Insurance Month. The topic, Insurance and You, Resilient Together. So my first question would be, how does insurance build resilience?
Well, Mark, the insurance industry in the Bahamas have proven to be very responsive to catastrophes and to events even now, such as the pandemic. And we are pleased to say that the industry has fared fairly well. Adversely affected in terms of our production during the last 2 years, but we really have not seen the kind of impact that some of the other sectors in the economy experience. We have been able to maintain full employment, and we have been able to continue to serve our clients at a very high standard. We have become even more creative in the way we deliver our services. So we are quite pleased in the manner in which the industry is responding to these particular challenging times.
Thank you for that. You don't always think about insurance, immediately providing resilience, to a country. You think of it more of on a personal level when you have an emergency or you have some unplanned, tragedy where you require insurance. But to think about it, providing resilience for the country, that's a new perspective. So, Mr. Johnson, why do we need general insurance?
Well, owing to the fact that catastrophes are always out there, is always happening. In the Bahamas, we are constantly reminded of the exposure to major losses from hurricanes and, of course, other events that goes on from day to day. So general insurance will provide a level of financial protection for those persons who own property, and that is, your home and commercial buildings and businesses,
those who are in the marine business, aircraft business, etc. You want to protect yourself by purchasing insurance from these eventualities that we do not know when they will happen, but certainly from time to time we see it happening. And the industry is quite capable of providing a full range of insurance services for the needs of persons out there.
Yes, and as we talk about the different types of insurances, Mr. Rodgers, tell us, why is health insurance so important for us?
Health insurance is definitely important as it provides that protection in the time of illnesses, and particularly during the pandemic. We have definitely seen the need for that coverage. Some persons we know have been affected in different ways. There are some persons who would have really need that, or who would have encountered critical care during the pandemic. So their insurance is there to provide that protection for their loved ones. We have definitely been able to provide coverage in terms of resilience. We were able to, as insurance, we have been able to keep our businesses going. Of course, many of us had to go into that immediate remote working from home, but nonetheless, we were prepared. And I think the insurance industry from the health side has fared well. We have been there when we've called upon, we've been able to deliver that level of service in that critical time of need.
Yeah, so we've heard about general insurance, health insurance. Mr. Lockhart, tell us, what is life insurance and why do we need it?
Well, life insurance is definitely the best way to create an estate. And so, example, life insurance will allow you, if you didn't have time to save that 200,000, 500,000, you could leave that in your face amount for your beneficiary to ensure that the kids and the wife still can be taken care of. And so that's undercurrent that's being running and a need that's being running from man was created. And so we've definitely been resilient Family Guardian overall. That's where I'm from. As a company, we put $75 million back in benefits into the community every year. And so that resilience has continually been seen and shown, and we're still going strong. And so our stakeholders, our shareholders, our clients feel the strength of the industry throughout because we are there and we care. We've shown that throughout this whole pandemic.
Mr. Lockhart, do you feel most Bahamians are adequately insured, underinsured, or not insured at all?
I will say most Bahamians, I will feel, have some insurance. I don't believe they are adequately insured, but we know in this economy and this environment, it's coming down to bare knuckles, making certain that you first can take care of final expenses, and then definitely you want to leave something for the wife and the kids. And so definitely you could seek to sit with your insurance provider, not run away from us. I know sometimes that tends to be the feeling, but I would encourage any client out there, stop and speak to your agent. Life insurance policy is a unilateral contract. It's a one-sided marriage. All the benefits go towards the client. The only thing you need to do is pay your premium in a timely fashion. And so sit with your professional, and there are so many things that the law, that the industry makes available to the client. Just stop and have a conversation and you will find it very beneficial.
Yes, it does sound like, you know, most people, they're afraid of the insurance companies. They don't think there's a person that you can sit down and speak to, but like you're saying, sit down and have a conversation with your insurance company, with a prospective company, and ask the questions. You know, it's a relationship that you're getting into, so it's best to know your partner inside and out. Mr. Johnson, tell us, how has COVID-19 impacted the insurance industry?
Well, you know, during the beginning of the pandemic in early 20, we just didn't know what to expect. And I think it required a lot of adjustments in terms of the way we deal with our clients. And the first instance, you know, we weren't able to meet with clients one-on-one, so we had to find a way to communicate with them electronically, to make provisions whereby payments can be made also electronically. And within relatively short order, we were able to get our staff working from home and communicating with clients. And, that has gone reasonably well. Of course, financially, I think most of the companies have seen a reduction in income, particularly for 2020 into 21, where the unemployment among the working class came almost to a halt. So a lot of our personal lines business, the homeowners and the private car insurances, and I'm sure the same would have happened with the life and health, persons weren't able to pay their premium. So we saw a reduction in income in those particular lines. Fortunately, on the commercial side, the larger accounts were able to sustain and to pay their premiums on a timely basis. So we saw very little movement in that part of the business. Fortunately, during the half of 2021, as we start to adjust to the pandemic and persons started to get back into employment, we began to recover from the losses that we saw in 2020. And at the moment, we are quite hopeful, and we are beginning to see positive numbers again, almost to pre-pandemic numbers.
Well, that's encouraging news. As we talked to Gowon Bowe a little earlier, and there's some signs of recovery in the economy, but we still have to be careful. So we're talking about Insurance Month. Mrs. Rodgers, tell us a little bit about what's going on, and is there any special dates we should know about this month?
Okay, yes, during Insurance Month, there will be a food drive that would be held throughout the month of February. So we are asking persons to deliver non-perishable goods at the various participating insurance companies. We will have the You and Your Money segment where we will be able to speak a bit more in depth about insurance, the benefits, to raise the awareness of the public of the need of having insurance. And we also will have webinars as well, another information point that provides more information. There is also a virtual game night. So we know there is less face-to-face interaction, but there will be a virtual game night. We are going to have some short video interviews, and this is where you will have the opportunity to familiarize yourself with some of the persons who've been in the industry over the many years, to see the various, selection of careers that are in the industry. So you'd have a chance to perhaps, whether it's a broker, insurance verifier, your underwriter, you'd be able to get a bit more information from them. And then, of course, there is the annual virtual insurance awards. As you know, there are a number of persons who participate in various insurance industry examinations and certifications. And that was an annual, face-to-face gathering, but this is the second year, those awards will be done virtually.
Well, sounds like a action-packed month, lots of great events. I'm loving the food drive, and also the opportunity to learn about careers in the insurance industry. I'm sure that will benefit a number of our young folks who are getting ready to come out of school and looking for career paths in the country. So we'd like to thank you again, the Bahamas Insurance Association, here talking to us about Insurance Month under the theme Insurance and You, Resilient Together. We'd like to thank Charles Johnson, Charlene Rodgers, and Antonio Lockhart for joining us this morning on Bahamas at Sunrise. Always a pleasure speaking about insurance.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Providence. Yes.
Thank you all for joining us on Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
One thing, two things, blue thing, old things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right, and in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies. If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
That's going to do it for us, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Bahamas at Sunrise. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing you all of this information on this very cold Monday.
Yes, Bahamas, thank you so much for being up with us day early. You have yourselves a good week and stay warm and don't be ashy.
See you all on Friday. Bye.